Bonjour, I'm Géraldine. In today's lesson about French pronunciation fundamentals, I am going to dive deep into la liaison. Remember la liaison, it is why un and ami makes un ami. Si vous arrivez plus ou moins à lire le français, mais que vous avez des ennuis à comprendre l'oral, la liaison fait sans aucun doute partie de ces problèmes. Was your comprehension better from listening to me or reading the text to understand what I was saying? For most of you, your understanding was likely better from reading the text. Watch the rest of this free lesson to start feeling as competent in spoken French as you are in written form. The rules for la liaison, I'm really sorry about that, they're complex and confusing. So today, instead of covering the theory, I will jump into practicing together. You can train your ear to the rhythm of la liaison, so instead of thinking about the rules all the time, you can get templates for common sentences in French. You will find much more about the theory around la liaison in the blog post I made for this lesson. You will find the link in the description. But the goal today is to get a feel for la liaison, just like French people do, because actually we don't know the rules. The liaison is very easily illustrated in the difference between les copains and les amis. Les copains means friends, but more in a colloquial way. Les copains, two different words, two different pronunciations. Les copains. But les amis, we don't say les amis. We say les amis. Les amis. So the S at the end of les here is pronounced. Les amis. Les amis, the friends. If you've never heard of it, this is la liaison. A silent letter is heard because there is a vowel after. Les amis. The same thing happens with bon appétit. Repeat after me. Bon appétit. Bon appétit. Again, bon appétit. It literally means good appetite, but it actually means enjoy your meal. It is a sentence we use every time we're sharing a meal with someone. We have the bon, that means good, bon with a nasal on, bon, and we have appétit with the e sound in the middle and a silent t at the end. But when we put them together, it makes bon appétit. Bon appétit. It sounds as if the bon had turned into bonne, the feminine form, and it makes bon appétit. Bon appétit. But no, it is still masculine and it sounds like that. Bon appétit. Bon appétit. Good. The same thing happens in, for example, un ancien ami parisien attend un enfant. An old Parisian friend is expecting a child. We can say un ancien ami, or we can say un ancien ami. I know I am digging deep here, but this is a big part of la liaison, and it is why it is so confusing, because sometimes la liaison is going to depend on the speaker, what they're feeling like today, and the context of the sentence. Here we also have other liaisons. Un ancien ami parisien attend un enfant. There is a liaison between un and the noun, so that's un déterminant, un and the noun, here un ancien. We also have a liaison between the adjective and the noun, ancien ami, but never before and after a verb. So repeat after me, un ancien ami parisien attend un enfant. Again, un ancien ami parisien attend un enfant. Here you can notice that we have some nasal sounds as well. Un ancien ami parisien attend un enfant. And if you saw my lesson on nasal sounds, you might have noticed that the un at the end of parisien is not a en sound as it should be. Yes, because at the end of a word, the en becomes a un. Parisien. Parisien. Yes, I know that's tricky. So let's repeat after me one last time. Un ancien ami parisien attend un enfant. Good. So there is always a liaison before a verb when the subject is a pronoun. Remember your French pronouns? Je, tu, il, elle, on, nous, vous, il, elle. Okay? So, for instance, we say, elles ont embarqué dans un avion pour les États-Unis. They boarded a plane for the United States. And we can do la liaison after a verb when it is être, to be, or avoir, especially in more formal French. So here we have elles ont embarqué. Elles ont embarqué dans un avion pour les États-Unis. Here we also do la liaison between dans and un. Dans un avion. And in the expression les États-Unis. Les États-Unis. Here we also have an E and a S sound. The E in L and the E in embarqué. Le E in les and États-Unis. So let's practice this whole sentence together. Ready? Do la liaison, okay? Elles ont embarqué dans un avion pour les États-Unis. Again, elles ont embarqué dans un avion pour les États-Unis. Okay, you get your A and A right as well? One last time. Elles ont embarqué dans un avion pour les États-Unis. Good. We saw together that some liaisons depend on who is talking, but others are completely forbidden, okay? For example, between a singular noun and the adjective that comes after it. For example, des amis alsaciens vont dans un restaurant asiatique. Friends from Alsace are going to an Asian food restaurant. Now let's look at the liaison here. Des amis, we do la liaison easy. Des amis. Between amis and Alsacien, we can do la liaison. Des amis Alsaciens, we can do it if we want to. It sounds a bit more formal when we do la liaison between a plural noun and its adjective. It's just up to you. Des amis Alsaciens for everyday life. Des amis Alsaciens if you want to sound a bit more formal. Vont dans un. Dans un, we have a normal liaison there. Dans un restaurant asiatique. We don't do la liaison because it is a singular noun followed by an adjective. So repeat after me. Des amis alsaciens vont dans un restaurant asiatique. If you don't know Alsacien, it comes from people coming from l'Alsace. It is the eastern area of France near Germany. So repeat after me. Des amis alsaciens vont dans un restaurant asiatique. Des amis alsaciens vont dans un restaurant asiatique. One last time, don't forget la liaison. Okay, and the on sounds and the en sounds. Des amis alsaciens vont dans un restaurant asiatique. Good. After a small adverb or a preposition in general, like en, we tend to do la liaison. But sometimes it is just weird, so I'd rather just show you the expressions instead of the rules. As in, quand est-ce que, when. Quand est-ce que. Here we have a silent D at the end of quand, but when we do la liaison, it becomes a T sound, a T sound. Quand est-ce que, when. Quand est-ce que. But in everyday spoken French, quand est-ce que. We also have à tout à l'heure, see you soon. À tout à l'heure. À tout à l'heure. And this is why we would say, quand est-ce que tu arrives? Je pensais que tu serais en avance. À tout à l'heure. Quand est-ce que tu arrives? Je pensais que tu serais en avance. À tout à l'heure. These are the liaisons we're making. Between quand and est-ce que, we saw that. We don't do la liaison between serait and en. And we do la liaison between en, avance, and tout à l'heure. Okay, so when are you coming? I thought you would come early. See you later. So repeat after me. Quand est-ce que tu arrives? Je pensais que tu serais en avance. À tout à l'heure. Quand est-ce que tu arrives? Je pensais que tu serais en avance. À tout à l'heure. La liaison is really not easy, okay? So that's why today I really wanted to concentrate on practicing together. So let's build our final example and our final challenge for this lesson. One of the weird liaisons that we have comes with 9. That means 9 in French. 9. It is a number, but it is also a determiner, so we make la liaison with it, okay? You might tell me, Géraldine, the F in 9 is not silent, so why are you telling me about la liaison? Well, the thing is, when you do la liaison, it becomes silent and its sound changes. It becomes the sound. We don't say 9 heures, we say 9 heures for 9 hours, 9 o'clock. 9 heures, 9 heures with the E sound. 9 heures, 9 heures. Tu viens à 9 heures. Are you coming at 9 o'clock? Tu viens à 9 heures. Tu viens à 9 heures. Here we don't do la liaison between vient and a because there's no liaison after a verb. Tu viens à 9 heures. Tu viens à 9 heures. Oh, and we do la liaison after chez, which means at someone's place. So, tu viens à 9 heures chez un ami. Are you coming at 9 to a friend's house? Tu viens à 9 heures chez un ami. Repeat after me. Tu viens à 9 heures chez un ami. Again, tu viens à 9 heures chez un ami. I told you la liaison was tricky. I told you after chez we have to do la liaison except when chez comes before a proper noun. So we have tu viens à 9 heures chez Arthur. Are you coming at 9 o'clock at Arthur's place? Repeat after me. Tu viens à 9 heures chez Arthur. Tu viens à 9 heures chez Arthur. Also, very often students ask me about la liaison with et. Well, we never make la liaison after et, ever. So we have tu viens à 9 heures chez Arthur et Apolline, no liaison there, avec des truffes et un ami. Are you coming at 9 at Arthur and Apolline's place with truffles and a friend? So repeat after me with the right liaison. Tu viens à 9 heures chez Arthur et Apolline avec des truffes et un ami. Again. Tu viens à 9 heures chez Arthur et Apolline avec des truffes et un ami. Finally, another number makes the weird liaison. It is 2. Remember, 2 in French, 2. Actually, all words ending with a silent X make a Z sound in plural, just like a silent S, remember? So, how would you say this sentence? Remember, we do la liaison when an adjective comes before a noun. It's the final challenge for today. It is tu viens à 9 heures chez Arthur et Apolline avec 2 autres amis. Again, tu viens à 9 heures chez Arthur et Apolline avec 2 autres amis. One last time, tu viens à 9 heures chez Arthur et Apolline avec 2 autres amis. Good! Congratulations! That was really, really good. I am very proud of you because la liaison is very difficult. Now that you have a broad view of the French pronunciation fundamentals, you can try your hand at the trick of fast everyday French, because yes, that's taking your French to another level. Maybe you will want to revisit the French pronunciation series or dive deeper into La Liaison where I give all the rules. Anyway, click right here on your screen to access the special playlist with all these lessons that I made for you. I will see you in the next video. Allez, salut!